What up, y'all? Welcome to What's in the Box Trek. Man, I had actually called the game against Philly last night with about 5-6 minutes left. I had no, like, the fact that they went to overtime is still shocking to me. So the Lakers ended up losing in overtime 122-133. I wouldn't say this is a tale of two halves or anything like that. The Lakers put up a pretty good fight considering Anthony Davis got in early foul trouble and just kind of didn't look all the way right. I think anybody who watched the game would say initially AD didn't look like he was back in the groove just yet. But towards the end of the game, he definitely woke up. I think he only had 6 points in the first half, but ended up with 31 points overall. So let's get into the stats. The Lakers shot 50% on 88 shots. But they gave up 53% shooting to Philly on 90 shots. The pace was about 100 shots per 48 minutes, so 100 possessions, not 100 shots. So not too bad defensively when you consider the pace. The real story of the game, kind of bearing the lead here, is that I would say Philly pretty much dominated the overtime. I don't even think that's an argument, right? Philly buckled down defensively, kind of forced Westbrook to be the guy. We'll get into those numbers in just a moment. 35% from three for the Lakers on 31 threes. That's about 35% of their shots overall. I do not like that. Why don't I like that? Because LeBron was 1 for 8. LeBron is currently shooting his lowest shooting percentage since his rookie year, 46%. His rookie year, he shot 41%. Why? Well, again, we talked about it after the Cavs game. When you look at star players, we don't even need the Cavs game. We can look at this game. Embiid played like a star. He was unstoppable, right? He had he had some offensive fouls. He had some bad rhythm plays, I would say, most definitely some bad rhythm plays, some things you kind of see from him on occasion. But being that he was robbed of MVP one of these last 2 years, I don't care what anybody says, Embiid was the MVP one of these last 2 seasons. He looked excellent, man. He's a great player, and he was counted out early in his career. And now people are kind of eating their trash talk for Embiid, and now they're saying, well, he never won a championship. Nah, you just got to take your L because you said he was going to be trash, and he turned out to be great. 14 for 19 from the field for Embiid, 38 points, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. But look, AD woke up. AD woke right up, man. 31 points, 9 for 13. His shots would have probably been a bit higher had he been in the game without foul trouble. Even though he did play 36 minutes, you do have to count part of that 36 is overtime. I think AD with more minutes plays a better game. Whether that amounts to a win or not, is arguable. One free throw and the Lakers win this game. He was 13 for 14 from the free throw line. That one free throw, but you cannot argue or complain about AD's game. Even with that missed free throw, you can't complain about his game. LeBron is playing further away from the basket. He's not capable of taking over a game at this point. Either that or he's not putting all of his all into taking over the game. I don't know which one is which, but right now he doesn't look like he's capable of doing what he used to do in the past, which would be fair, man. I mean, he's been in the league for 20 years. At some point, you got to move the ball to AD or get it around to players that can hit those shots. I do want to make a real quick note that I didn't write down here. Austin Reeves played amazing, and there's been a lot of argument about getting rid of Caruso, but I'm telling you from the very first game, and I have people that can vouch for this. The first game I saw Austin Reeves play, I was like, oh, okay, I know why they got rid of Caruso. They found a better version, right? Now Caruso got a chip, so there's that. And Austin Reeves has been part of 2 losing seasons, but he's a better player, and I think over time we'll find that to be more and more true as time goes on. So Lonnie Walker IV again with six shots on 48% shooting. He's good for 6 or 7 makes a game. Even though you had a couple bad games with the stars out. The Lakers shots, now, on the other hand, going back to the three-point game, 45% from 3 for Philly. To me, this is the biggest difference in the game outside of how they played in overtime. Melton, hey, hats off, man. 67% from 3, 8 for 12, 33 points. He averages about 12 points a game on 40% shooting, 39% shooting from 3. 39% shooting is not bad at all, but wow, he had a heck of a game. And, I'd like to see him do that one again to the Lakers. The Lakers zone defense looked really good. Normally, it looks a little off, but game by game, that zone defense has been getting much better. And when they switch into it, they are making it difficult for a lot of teams. If Melton is not hot like he was, which no shade to them at all, I think the Lakers win this game as soon as they get into that zone. The Lakers shot 76%, 77% from the free throw line. LeBron shot 50%. I was texting my buddies throughout this whole game, and I'm like, yo, as they got closer, I'm like, look at the points in this game and look at the points from the free throw line. You just have to shoot better from three. I mean, from the free throw line. You cannot do this, especially on the road. Players like Melton have these types of games at home more often than they'll have them on the road. There's a big argument that a lot of people have that the Lakers make stars out of people every night. They haven't been doing that as much this season, but Melton, this is a good home game for him, which is why you have to play almost flawless. The Lakers lost a rebound battle 37-42, but they did win second chance points 11-8, and the offensive rebounds were tied 7-7. I'm okay with losing the overall rebound battle. The offensive rebound battle is the one I care about the most, and the Lakers did well there, as well as second chance points. They did have 21 turnovers, but they did force 23 turnovers, and off those 23 turnovers they forced, they scored 31 points. Most of that was the fourth quarter. A lot of that was that fourth quarter push. They gave up 23 points in turnovers. That's too many turnovers, period, point blank. But you do have to account for the fact that they played roughly 5 quarters. They had 32 fast break points to 16. That, may give you a bit of a story that the pace was controlled. But again, Embiid played so well that who could argue that? And they won the points in the paint battle 54-46, which is pretty amazing. Just amazing show of offense by AD at the end, towards the end, when he finally had a chance to play. He turned it up big time. Second story of the game, or first, if you want to make Melton the first. Let's say Embiid's the first story, Melton's the second story. Harden in OT was excellent. You made both of his shots, but he got to the line 5 for 5 from the free throw line. They put it away. What they also did was they forced Russ to be the guy. And every stage of his career, this has been feast or famine for Russ. If you force Russ to be the guy, it's 50-50 chance that he's going to fail it, right? So that's the reality right now. AD only took 1 shot in the fourth, but that was more indicative of Philly's defense. In overtime. That was more indicative of Philly's defense than it was of the Lakers' kind of poor offense. Philly did an excellent job. Hats off to Doc Rivers and his coaching staff for that. Overall, man, I'm not super happy with this road trip. They got to close it out against Detroit tomorrow. That's really not the game of the day, by the way. If you watch that New Orleans and Phoenix game, that's the game of the day Sunday. So, my eyes will be on that one. I do think this kind of where I do, shout out to New Orleans and any New Orleans fans. This whole new wave of New Orleans fans is really goofy. It reminds me of like the people who moved on to be Heat fans or Clippers fans because they didn't like Kobe instead of Shaq. Like, it's starting to get a little silly now, and I feel like a lot of y'all should grow up. But this is where we are. We at least want to split this road trip and stay, 4 games under 500. Right now, they're 5 games under 500. It just shows you, man, like that -5 is tough. That -5 is extremely tough. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time, man. I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday tomorrow against the Pistons. I don't think this is a walkover. You're playing the Pistons at home. Tired off the end of a road trip. Maybe you have something to prove. Maybe you don't. Let's just hope the Lakers close this out well so they can get back home and try to get to some winning ways against some pretty difficult teams coming up. So that's it. This has been What's in the Box Track. I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.